an affair with the bride's sister. Before we continue, please remember to like, share and subscribe. The morning of the wedding dawned clear and bright, casting a warm glow over the sprawling garden where the ceremony was to take place. White chairs lined the neatly trimmed lawn, adorned with delicate ribbons and clusters of pastel flowers that swayed gently in the breeze. Guests arrived dressed in their finest attire, their voices filled with excitement and anticipation. The air buzzed with laughter and the soft hum of a string quartet playing in the background, setting the perfect tone for what was meant to be a day of celebration and new beginnings. Inside the bridal suite, Emma stood before a large mirror, the white silk of her gown cascading around her like a waterfall. Her eyes sparkled with joy and nerves, a soft smile playing on her lips as she thought about Nathan, the man she was about to marry. She could hear the distant chatter and the faint music drifting through the open window, blending with the fluttering of butterflies in her stomach. Every detail had been planned to perfection, every moment choreographed to create a memory that would last a lifetime. But beneath the surface of this idyllic scene, subtle tensions rippled quietly, unnoticed by most. Nathan, the charming groom, kept stealing glances away from the gathering crowd. His expression was distant at times, his smile forced, and there was an undeniable flicker of distraction in his eyes. He appeared restless, as if his thoughts were elsewhere. Meanwhile, Lily, Emma's younger sister, moved through the crowd with a nervous energy that contrasted sharply with the festive atmosphere. Her gaze avoided meeting Emma's, and she shifted uncomfortably when caught in the eyes of family members. Despite the outward joy, these small details planted seeds of unease, like shadows at the edge of a sunlit garden. The picture-perfect wedding began to feel fragile, as if it balanced on the edge of something unspoken. Emma's laughter was genuine, but the lingering looks between Nathan and Lily hinted at a secret waiting to surface. The guests continued to celebrate, oblivious to the undercurrents of tension threading through the day. As the ceremony neared, the sunlight filtered through the blossoming branches, casting dappled patterns on the aisle where Emma would soon walk toward her future. The moment felt magical, charged with hope and promise, but also tinged with a quiet tension that foreshadowed the unraveling to come. This opening scene sets the stage, glorious and radiant on the surface, yet threaded with the first subtle signs that all was not as perfect as it seemed. The scene shifts to a series of flashbacks that slowly unravel the hidden story behind the perfect wedding day. These glimpses into the past reveal the growing, secret connection between Nathan and Lily, Emma's younger sister. What began as casual conversations gradually deepened into something far more complicated and forbidden. Late at night, under the soft glow of phone screens, texts fly back and forth between Nathan and Lily. Their messages are filled with coded words and subtle affection, a secret language shared in hushed tones that no one else can understand. They arrange clandestine meetings in quiet cafes and secluded parks, places where the world around them seems to fade away. These stolen moments are charged with excitement and danger, yet beneath the surface lies a tension neither fully acknowledges. Lily's face reveals a constant battle between guilt and desire. She knows what she's doing is wrong. Not just because it betrays Emma's trust but because it threatens to tear apart the family they all hold dear. Yet, she feels trapped, caught in a web of emotions that Nathan skillfully weaves. He promises her love, devotion, and secrecy, whispering assurances that they will keep their secret safe, no matter what. His words wrap around her like a velvet noose, pulling her deeper into a situation she struggles to escape. Meanwhile, Emma moves through her days in blissful ignorance. She talks excitedly about wedding plans, their future home, and the life she imagines with Nathan. To her, her fiancé is the perfect partner, kind, loving, and devoted. She cherishes her sister deeply, counting on her as a confidant and best friend. The stark contrast between Emma's innocence and the dark, tangled secret unfolding behind her back creates a palpable tension that grips the viewer. This scene masterfully builds suspense, drawing the audience into the emotional complexity of the characters. It highlights the painful irony of betrayal within a family, where love and loyalty are supposed to be unbreakable. Every glance exchanged between Nathan and Lily, every whispered word, intensifies the sense of impending doom. As the flashbacks weave together, the audience is left on edge, knowing the truth is inching closer to the surface. Emma's trust, once so firm, stands vulnerable and fragile. The warmth of sisterhood is poisoned by deception, setting the stage for the inevitable heartbreak to come. Through these intimate moments, the story explores themes of temptation, guilt, and the devastating impact of betrayal. It asks difficult questions about loyalty and forgiveness, all while capturing the raw, tangled emotions that make this secret affair so dangerous and devastating. As the days pass following the excitement of the wedding preparations, Emma begins to notice subtle changes in the people closest to her, changes that stir a growing unease deep within her. Nathan, who had always been attentive and affectionate, now seems distracted and distant. His smiles no longer reach his eyes, and his once warm embraces feel fleeting and hesitant. He often finds reasons to step away from conversations or leaves early from gatherings, his excuses vague and unconvincing. Emma's heart aches with confusion, but she clings to the hope that it's just stress or nerves about the upcoming wedding. At the same time, Lily's behavior shifts noticeably. The once lively and open sister she grew up with becomes withdrawn and evasive. She avoids Emma's gaze and skirts around topics they once shared freely. When Emma tries to bridge the growing gap, Lily offers half-hearted reassurances but quickly changes the subject, leaving Emma feeling unsettled and shut out. The sisterly bond that once felt unbreakable now feels fragile. Caught in this whirlpool of doubt, Emma reaches out to her closest friends, hoping to find clarity and support. She voices her worries in hushed tones, questioning if she's overthinking or imagining things. Her friends listen carefully, offering sympathy but no concrete answers. Emma's mind becomes a battleground of hope and suspicion, love and fear. Every missed call, every sudden silence from Nathan twists her emotions tighter. As the days turn into weeks, Emma's anxiety intensifies. She rereads old messages, scans social media accounts, and listens for any clue that might explain the shift. But each discovery only deepens the knot of uncertainty in her chest. She feels isolated, as if a growing wall of secrecy surrounds her, blocking her from the truth. This scene plunges the audience into Emma's internal struggle, allowing them to experience her slow unraveling of trust firsthand. Her pain is raw and relatable, the quiet torment of sensing something is wrong but lacking the evidence to confront it. The tension builds steadily, like a storm gathering on the horizon, foreshadowing the heartbreak to come. Emma's confusion and vulnerability make her all the more sympathetic, inviting viewers to root for her as she faces a painful reality she can barely acknowledge. The subtle cues of Nathan's detachment and Lily's avoidance cast long shadows over the story, transforming a seemingly perfect life into a fragile facade teetering on the edge of collapse. The family gathering was meant to be a joyous occasion. An intimate celebration before the wedding ceremony, filled with laughter, shared memories, and hopeful conversations about the future. The room was warm with soft lighting, the air fragrant with fresh flowers and the subtle clink of glasses raised in toasts. Relatives and close friends mingled, smiles bright and voices light-hearted, all seemingly caught up in the happiness of the moment. Emma stood among them, dressed elegantly and glowing with anticipation, her heart brimming with excitement for the new life she was about to begin. But beneath the surface of the cheerful gathering, something dark and fragile was about to shatter that perfect illusion. As Emma excused herself to the quieter side of the house, her footsteps faltered when she caught a whispered conversation drifting from an adjacent room. Hidden behind the slightly ajar door, she heard the unmistakable voices of Nathan and Lily. Their words were hushed but heavy with urgency, laced with confessions and promises that were never meant to be overheard. The tone, the secrecy, the intimacy, it all became painfully clear in an instant. Nathan and Lily were more than just conspirators in silence, they were entangled in a betrayal that cut to the very heart of Emma's life. Emma's breath hitched. Time seemed to slow as shock and disbelief crashed over her like a tidal wave. Her hands trembled, and a cold numbness spread through her chest. She stumbled back, heart pounding wildly, tears stinging her eyes. The warmth of the gathering turned to ice, the faces of family members suddenly blurring into a backdrop of betrayal and deceit. Unable to hold back the pain any longer, Emma confronted Lily in the same room, her voice trembling yet resolute. The emotional confrontation was raw and explosive, years of trust and sisterly love unraveling in a flood of anger, hurt, and shattered dreams. Lily, caught between guilt and defiance, struggled to defend herself, her eyes flickering with shame and regret but unable to escape the truth she had tried so desperately to hide. The tension crackled in the air as accusations and confessions tumbled out, tearing apart the carefully constructed facade of family unity. Emma's world, once steady and bright, crumbled piece by piece. The betrayal was not just a wound between two people but a rupture that threatened to divide the entire family. Emotions ran high, words cut deep, and the room felt charged with the raw power of broken bonds. This pivotal scene exposes the devastating reality that had been lurking beneath the surface. It is a moment of heartbreak so profound that the audience can almost feel Emma's anguish, the sting of trust shattered and innocence lost. As the facade falls away, the story plunges into the painful aftermath, setting the stage for the difficult journey ahead, one marked by betrayal, forgiveness, and the search for healing. The wedding venue, once a symbol of love and celebration, was now transformed into a stage for raw emotion and shattered dreams. Guests gathered in their elegant attire, the air thick with anticipation and the sweet scent of flowers. What was supposed to be the happiest day of Emma's life had become a crucible of pain and revelation. As the ceremony was about to begin, Emma stood at the edge of the room, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and determination. She had spent days wrestling with her feelings, and now she was ready to confront the man who had betrayed her so deeply. The moment came when Nathan, dressed sharply in his tuxedo, turned toward her with that familiar smile, one she once trusted without question. Without hesitation, Emma stepped forward, her voice steady but filled with fierce resolve. "Nathan, how could you?" she demanded, her words cutting through the murmurs like a blade. The room fell silent, every eye fixed on the unfolding drama. Shock rippled through the crowd as Emma exposed the secret she had uncovered, the affair between Nathan and Lily. Nathan's face tightened, his usual composure slipping as he struggled to defend himself. He tried to explain, stammering over half-hearted justifications about confusion, mistakes, and misplaced feelings. His voice cracked under the weight of exposure, but the damage was done. The trust he once commanded was now replaced by anger and disbelief. Lily, standing nearby, broke down completely. Her composed facade shattered as tears streamed down her face, her guilt laid bare for everyone to see. Torn between the love she felt and the pain she caused, she sobbed uncontrollably, pleading silently for forgiveness that might never come. The sight of her sister's agony seemed to deepen the guests' shock, as they witnessed a family's private torment laid bare before them. The atmosphere spiraled into chaos. Voices rose, some gasping, others whispering, while a few rushed to comfort Emma. The joyous celebration dissolved into confusion and hurt, the once bright room now shadowed by betrayal. Emma's bravery in confronting the truth sparked a cascade of emotions, disbelief, sorrow, anger, all colliding in a moment too intense to ignore. This confrontation marked a crucial turning point in the story. The betrayal was no longer a hidden wound but a public spectacle, forcing every character to face the consequences of their actions. The fractured relationships could no longer be mended with silence or denial, the truth demanded recognition and reckoning. Through the chaos, Emma stood tall, embodying strength amid heartbreak. Her courage to speak out against the deception not only shattered the illusion of a perfect family but also began her journey toward healing and self-empowerment. This scene captures the devastating impact of betrayal while highlighting the power of truth and resilience, leaving the audience captivated and deeply moved. After the storm of confrontation and chaos, Emma found herself alone in a quiet, sunlit room. A stark contrast to the emotional whirlwind that had just engulfed her. The noise of the wedding, the accusations, and the shattered illusions felt like distant echoes as she sank into a soft chair, her body heavy with exhaustion and her mind racing with a swirl of emotions. The betrayal had cut deep, leaving raw wounds not just on her heart but on her very sense of self. In this fragile moment, Emma allowed herself to feel the full weight of her pain. Tears came freely, a release of the anguish she had carried in silence for so long. Yet amid the sorrow, there flickered a tentative spark of something stronger, a quiet determination not to be defined by betrayal or broken trust. This was the beginning of her journey toward healing. With the support of close friends who had stood by her throughout the ordeal, Emma began to rebuild her fractured world. These friends offered more than just comfort. They offered a mirror reflecting her worth and reminding her of the strength she possessed even when she doubted it herself. Their gentle encouragement helped her to reclaim her voice and confidence, piece by piece. Seeking deeper understanding, Emma also turned to a counselor, whose compassionate presence created a safe space for her to unravel the tangled emotions within. Through their conversations, she explored not only the pain of betrayal but also the complex nature of familial love. The ways in which loyalty, hurt, forgiveness, and resentment could coexist. It was a difficult and sometimes painful process, but with each session, Emma discovered layers of resilience she hadn't known she had. This period of reflection was not linear. There were moments of doubt, frustration, and even anger. But gradually, Emma began to forgive, not to excuse the hurt inflicted upon her, but to free herself from the burden of bitterness. Forgiveness became less about others and more about reclaiming peace within herself. As days turned to weeks, the once overwhelming chaos gave way to calm. Emma started to see her future with cautious hope, recognizing that healing was a journey rather than a destination. She found solace in small joys, a quiet walk in the park, laughter with friends, the comfort of a good book, and these moments became the building blocks of her new life. In this scene, the narrative shifts from heartbreak to empowerment. Emma's vulnerability is real and raw, but it is matched by an emerging strength that speaks to the human capacity to endure and grow. Her story reflects the universal struggle to find light in darkness, illustrating that even in the deepest pain, hope can take root and blossom. In the final scene, Emma stands at the threshold of a new chapter in her life, symbolizing her journey from heartbreak to healing. The setting is serene. A small, sunlit apartment filled with fresh flowers and simple, meaningful touches that reflect her reclaimed sense of self. This space, once foreign and uncertain, has become her sanctuary, a place where she can breathe freely and begin to rebuild her world on her own terms. Emma's face carries the soft glow of quiet confidence, a stark contrast to the pain and confusion that once clouded her eyes. She moves with purpose, unpacking boxes not just of belongings, but of memories and hopes she's ready to carry forward. Every small action, watering a plant, setting a photo on a shelf, preparing a meal, speaks to her newfound independence and the strength she's nurtured through her struggles. Though cautious, Emma's optimism about the future shines through. She reflects on the lessons learned from betrayal and heartbreak, understanding that while the past shaped her, it does not define her. The scars remain, but they have become reminders of her resilience rather than sources of pain. She has learned to trust herself again, building a foundation of self-love and respect that no one can shake. The scene also shows Emma reconnecting with the world around her, reaching out to old friends, exploring new opportunities, and engaging in passions she once set aside. These moments of connection and growth illustrate that healing is an ongoing journey, one that embraces both vulnerability and courage. Emma's story closes with a powerful sense of peace and possibility. As she steps out into the soft glow of a new day, her smile is genuine, filled with hope rather than hesitation. The future is uncertain, but she faces it with a heart open to joy and strength anchored in self-awareness. This ending affirms the transformative power of personal growth after pain. It leaves the audience inspired by Emma's journey, from betrayal to empowerment, from loss to new beginnings. Her story is a testament to the human spirit's ability to rise, rebuild, and ultimately thrive, proving that happiness and peace are not just distant dreams but achievable realities after even the darkest of storms. If you enjoyed the story, please ensure to like, share and subscribe. Thank you.